I started the series on guarding your heart. Um, the first part was guarding your heart. The next parts are about how to guard your heart. Last week we started with prayer, which is by far the most important thing. And this week we're going to talk about being positive. It's very easy to get negative with a student or other individuals who are not that fun to be around. Not kind, disrespectful. They don't treat others um, well. They don't listen well. They're all out for themselves. But being negative, wow, man, it's easy to do. It's easy to fall into, and we know what it's like to be around those people who are constantly negative. And I'm not saying that we ignore bad behavior or things that are not right, but how we handle this and what we looked at. I had a friend one time, we were golfing, and it was in the spring, and it was probably the first spring we were out, and the weather was absolutely gorgeous. And and this individual, he says, we look at each other and the other golfers, and we say, "Man, what a beautiful day it is." And this man says, "Man, it could be a little bit warmer." It's amazing perspective and how being positive and how we look at things. And so when a student or somebody else is in your classroom or in your building or working with you, like a colleague whose behavior is kind of unacceptable, kind of or really is unacceptable, not appropriate. And we're working with them, it's tough to stay positive. But I challenge you, through that prayer and asking God to help us stay positive, we can be. It's not, again, it's not that we ignore the bad behavior, that we find it acceptable. It's the attitude we take in which it happens and how we handle it. Looking for the good in that student who seems to always have the bad. The kid that always seems to be receiving the discipline because they can't sit down, because they don't do their work, because they talk back, because they come in late, because they sleep in class, you name it, whatever it may be. Um, and it's very difficult to find the positive in it. It's easy to find the negative, and we can really dwell on the negative and all the bad things that happen. But it takes work to find the positive. I challenge you. What can be positive in that situation? What's that student doing that can be positive? Did they show up to class on time with materials once out of the 5 days? Let's celebrate that. Let's be positive about it, even in our own heart, even if we're not exaggerating or we're doing it with the student, but in our own heart, finding those small victories, looking for the things that are good in that student. It can be very difficult. But it pays off in the end in how we handle things and how we react to situations and how we treat the student, not only here at the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year. If nothing else, this disruptive behavior, this disorganization, this rudeness, this talking back, this unkindness, and the challenges it brings to you as a teacher. If nothing else, we can say it makes us a better teacher because we got to pull out all the bags of the tricks. So, look for the positives. Be positive in the situation with that student, with your colleagues, with your boss, whoever it may be. Find those things that you can grab a hold of that are good. Guard your heart.